Hey readers, so far I have really seen our writing about reading come to life. Readers truly do make the best writers, and we're seeing it happen here in class. I wanted to show you some exemplars or some model reading responses that I saw from you students here in our class. Recently we read a story called I Want a Phone, and I saw some really nice reading responses and analytical thinking. So here's one example. Myrna's character is curious. As she wanted the phone, she was listing examples, like when she said if she had a kitten and the kitten ran away, she had to run to it, and she had no phone to call for help. I love that character trait, curious at the front. Here's another response that says, the beginning is different from the end because in the beginning she was attempting to make up a bunch of nonsense about a bear cave and her dad eating. In the end, there was a real reason to have a phone because her dad wanted to call her mom. So she knew they were going to be a little bit longer, but his phone died. And then the last one here. The part where she slams her hand on the glove compartment best represents Myrna's frustration. She was mad because she couldn't get a phone. I just can't believe the way that we were thinking so analytically about this text. We have moved away in all of these responses from just telling me what happened and giving me a summary, and we've moved into telling me what that truly means about our text. So today, I want to remind you that when we're aiming to write well about our reading, it's actually important to remember that revision is one of the most important ways to raise the level of your writing. So in order to revise any text, it helps to have an image of good work in mind. In this instance, it helps to have a sense for what makes quality writing about reading. So today we're going to look at another work sample, and we're going to look at and see how this student revised his original thinking in order to raise the level of his writing again. So the work that we've done before this about thinking analytically has started to transform our writing, and I think we can raise it even more by adding a piece of revision. So I want to show you a reading response of a student who has really risen the level of his reading response. So let's take a look. So this student is reading Ringer by Jerry Spinelli, and as you can see here, this is his original reading response. It's on a sticky note. I think Beans, Motto, and Henry have some kind of popular group in the neighborhood. So that was his first thought. Now look at how he revised it. I think this because everyone would do things for them. For instance, Palmer is happy that they gave him a nickname, Snots, even though it isn't such a nice nickname. In addition, when they punch Palmer, he takes it as an accomplishment, and the older kids in the neighborhood had to respect Palmer. This makes me think Beans, Motto, and Henry have a lot of power because they can control the way kids think. I think Beans has most of the power. For example, Beans can give you a nickname, and once he does it, that is your permanent name, and everyone has to call you that. Another example is Palmer says that Beans is the head of the group. Beans can control the way kids think. An event in the story that proves this is Palmer has always wanted to be part of Beans' group. It was like his life goal. All of this shows Motto, Henry, and especially Beans have a lot of power over kids in their neighborhood. They really change kids' lives. I think that they use their power negatively. One reason is they have enough power, so whatever they do, kids will have to love it. So they punch kids on their birthday, and the kid receiving the punches loves it. They treat the event with respect, and littler kids treat it with amazement. So, wow. That's what I say to this reading response here. I noticed at first that he had started with a stop and jot. So he, as this student was reading, he was really taking control of his reading life, and he was adding sticky notes into his original ideas. After that, he then worked to grow his idea and was writing long and strong. It looks like he was writing to discover more. So he's not just writing to summarize, he's trying to discover big ideas in there. So now he used a sticky note, but for you, this also, it could have been a sticky note. It also could have been answering one question from our reading response. It also could have been answering an analytical thinking question. So it's any of that original thinking that you then move on to write long and strong. I also noticed that the writer stated his idea here. Beans, Motto, and Henry have a popular group in the neighborhood, but then he went on to give a lot of evidence from the text. not only did he use evidence, but it looks like this student was trying to connect his reading unit to his writing unit and was even using thought prompts. That's amazing to me. Thought prompts are not just for writing, it's for everything. So here he says, in addition, he also says, all of this shows. He has one reason is, for example, I mean, the amount of thought prompts he used was, I mean, I lost control. So he definitely chose to raise the level of his reading by writing long and strong and by using thought prompts to add to his own thinking. I think that's incredible. So what I want you to do right now is leave a YouTube comment. How will you raise the level of your writing today? So press pause and leave a comment. How are you going to raise the level of your writing today? Press play when you're ready. Now that you're back, I look forward to reading those comments. The only thing left to do is to start reading. So I've sent back your reading responses from last week. I read through those, and I think we're in a good starting position for those of you who submit your reading response last week. I think we're in a good position to be thinking about our reading responses today rather than last minute and trying to do 2 in one day. I think we can look at our reading responses from last week and use some of those ideas to raise the level of our thinking and of our writing about reading. So you have 2 reading responses due by the end of the week. I look forward to see how we've raised the level of those responses. Happy reading.